Start Over Strong, Life After a DUI, a podcast for people, not offenders. Brought to you by Smart Start, the nation's most trusted, judgment-free ignition interlock provider. Hello and welcome to today's show. I am Morgan Ryan and this is Stigma Free IID. Izzy and I have a great episode planned for you today and a super awesome guest that we've both been dying to bring on to the show. Today's episode is featuring Molly Denman. She's a director of Pilates and we're going to talk all about fitness, the daily intersection of really good habits, nutrition, alcohol. How do we build a lifestyle that's around supporting physical and mental well-being, and also how we can navigate a world where drinking really truly is a part of our social culture. This episode today is also going to break down specifically what women need to know about their bodies and how their bodies do metabolize alcohol, especially if they're participating in something like fitness. We want to know how fitness impacts alcohol tolerance as well. So we're going to talk through all of these things, including mindful drinking today with Molly Denman. Molly, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Yes. So I know this is a topic, Izzy, that you and I are both very, very excited about. I'm a fitness guru. You're a fitness guru. Talk to me about your daily and weekly habits in the gym.
Yeah, so absolutely near and dear to my heart. I think balance is very important. As we've discussed before, I do, and many of us do, have a high stress occupation, right? So it's important to balance the stress levels. I also have 2 teenagers, very active. And I do have a group of friends that like to socially drink, right? So I have not completely eliminated that from my life, but balance has been very important. And as we've discussed before, routine has been very critical for me to be able to maintain my fitness level, still participate in social drinking, and still show up for my family and kids.
Yeah, because Izzy, I've heard, and Molly, I want to uncover this today. I've heard that if you work hard in the gym, the way that all 3 of us do, social drinking can almost negate maybe your progress or your efforts. Okay, so we're going to uncover all of that. First and foremost, Molly, tell me about you and your background.
Well, as you said, I am the coordinator for our Pilates department. Basically, I am in charge of growing that department. My job is to basically find clients for the rest of my team.
Okay.
So where I work, we do one-on-one Pilates. That's all that I do. I only teach one-on-one, which you're my client, so you know this.
Yes. For everybody that is wondering, I am a Pilates princess with Miss Molly.
Yes. No, she's
I do
awesome.
A great job, though.
You do.
Yes, I
You do a
work
great
very
job.
hard. Izzy, you should come to Pilates.
You need to come.
So I've gone one session with my wife, just so y'all know, it did not take me long to become a believer in Pilates. Because I understand it definitely hits on all the muscles that compound strength training does not hit.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely all in. I'd love to train.
Yes, you should.
Y'all heard it straight from the mouth of Izzy.
Yeah.
Izzy Riz. You know, that's his hashtag, Molly. Like Izzy Riz. Like stat
Still
charisma.
Get used to it, but yeah.
It's amazing. I love it.
Imagine you pointing your toes in Pilates and like
Yes.
all the circles
Yes.
and all the things.
That's what you do because you used to be a dancer. You're always with the toes. Always with the toes.
Yes.
I love it.
So, okay, you've got a big girl job and
I
you're doing
do.
really big things.
I do have a big girl job. It's my pink collar job. That's what I like to call it. I also teach 7 group classes too. I teach a mat sculpt class, cycle, and a strength class.
I know you're really into cycle.
And then I do reformer. That's my big girl full time. The other ones are my side job. They just happen to be in the same building.
Okay. I understand completely. So I know that you have a beautiful background. Having worked with you as really my coach, the way that we go about Pilates and my daily discipline, someone who has gone through trauma and I'm looking to heal things, right? I think this is true for a lot of people going through a program like Smart Start with an ignition interlock device, male or female. Izzy and I talk, we preach almost about daily disciplines and having healthy habits during something like this type of season. You and I do personal sessions. What's the difference between a personal session like what Izzy described to with his wife versus going to like a Pilates class? Am I still going to get the same out of it?
Probably not the exact same. It also just really depends on where you go because I am about to have the highest level certification that you can have.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So it really depends on where you go and like what certifications they have and, their knowledge of anatomy and the body and just kind of all that. Yeah. So I worked in fitness for 5 years. So I kind of have a little more knowledge than someone who just like walked in the door and did one weekend training of Pilates and, oh, I'm a Pilates instructor. You know what I mean?
I understand completely.
Yeah.
And I really do think it matters on the level of, you kind of get what you pay for, right? Smart Start, I equate it to, we're a brand where we are truly there to provide a program to you, not a product. We're not predatory. We want to get you through the program. We want to get you over the finish line and be violation free. Your story, though, Molly, I know you've been through quite a bit. You have an interesting history in terms of COVID, how you handled COVID. And you're also, like me, someone who's been divorced. So you've gone through a pretty painful season, too. Can you tell me more about that and how that shaped your fitness history today?
Yes. So I started doing spin. Spin was my first love. It will always be my first love. So I started doing spin in college, and then whenever I got married, when did I get married? 2020, the weekend before the world closed. Literally one of the last normal weddings probably of 2020, February 2020.
Wow.
And so I was already obsessed with spin, and we moved here the weekend before the world closed, in March, whenever that was. And there was a cycle bar right down the road from our house. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go try this because I really love cycle. And I walked in and I took the class, and the girl who taught the class came up to me after and was like, you need to work here. So I was like, okay. And it just kind of all like fell together. And when I started doing training for that was when my marriage kind of fell apart. So like that was over. It was very quick and not painless, but quick and painless as it could be. We didn't have kids. None of our stuff was together. I never even changed my last name. So it was like pretty cut and dry. And right whenever all that was happening, I had this training to go to. So I always had something to do. I had something to think about. I had something to occupy my time, and all of like the emotions I was feeling, because that's why I started to fall in love with cycles, because I couldn't think about anything else while I was doing that. I was so in it and I was so focused on that and dying that I couldn't think about like what was going on in my life, in my marriage. And now I see that as my body knew something was wrong, but I didn't want to like acknowledge it. I didn't want it to be real. So that's why I was so locked in. But like that place and that training like saved my life 100%, because it gave me something, gave me an outlet. You know,
that there's a very powerful testimony there, the power of movement, fitness as a foundation. I know, Izzy, you've got questions, and I've heard you talk a lot about daily disciplines and every day hammering it out in the gym. How can you help our listeners understand with someone like Molly here, maybe just honing her point through to them for those daily disciplines?
Yeah, I think anything you do within a fitness regimen is very much in line with what you're doing with one of our programs, right? It's that first initial step. It's, someone guiding you through. Molly, you probably have some people that are very reluctant or very hesitant to start the program at first. They feel like they don't understand what's going to be required from an investment standpoint. They're scared. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of doubt. Even if you start with people with health problems, even more so, right? So I think very much for our potential customers, it's the same thing. They don't understand what it's going to require, what kind of involvement, what kind of dedication, what kind of discipline, what kind of daily steps you have to take. And within that program, starting with our program advisors, we explain step by step the requirements in your state, in your county, what's required for the program, what you do when you first sign up, when you're enrolling, what you do from the point you install the device through you're going through each day that you're having to blow into the device and register. So I definitely think it's very much akin to a program or workout regimen that gets you mentally and physically in shape and to a point where you can complete the program or you can work through and you feel like it is now ingrained in your life. Like it's very similar to what you started. I started on my physical fitness about 2 years before COVID. I was a little bit overweight, had not worked out in 10 years, had an athletic background, but that was way back in my background, like high school.
Uncle Rico.
Yeah, exactly. So glory days, I had to start the glory days all over again. But once I started down that path, the habits that I started in 2018, 2019 have stuck with me now 7 years later. Right now, basically, I can't go a day without having those habits in place.
Yeah,
So I
it
think
really
it's very much like that.
becomes a part of your life, doesn't it? I've heard recently somebody saying, partner with power. So if you're going through despair, if you've just gotten a DUI, if you've had this ignition interlock device put on your car, you're a mom, you're a dad, to partner with power through that season of despair. And I think that starting small, right? Small, consistent habits will lead to more intense workouts.
Mhm.
And if you partner with something that makes you feel powerful and more grounded, and you're especially using your body in that movement, I think you can come out on top differently than if you don't partner with power. Would you agree with that, Molly?
100%.
Yeah, I think fitness has improved my own mindset, my own energy levels, my confidence. I have questions, though, about nutrition because I'm someone, just like Izzy, we both believe in social drinking. We both believe in modeling moderation. So from a science-backed perspective, I'm interested. I want to have a discussion about how alcohol metabolizes differently, maybe for women than men. Can you help walk me through that?
Yes. So women get a higher blood alcohol content. So because we don't have as much water in our body, so you get intoxicated faster normally than a male. But it works. How it affects your body is pretty much the same, but it does affect affect women faster. I think harder and faster, pretty much.
Wow, that's really interesting. Izzy, that doesn't mean that our men need to go out and drink more, right?
Right. Some moderation. I think for men, although it affects us slower, it still affects us. And it can definitely interfere with your daily routine, your habits, your fitness habits.
Yeah, and Molly, muscle mass, hormones, enzyme levels, alcohol absorption. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Makes, you said harder and faster.
Yeah.
A female. Goodness. Okay, so in terms of fitness, I'm someone just like Izzy. We like to drink. We do drink. We do it with moderation in mind. Is it true that if I drink, I am completely negating the work that I've done that week in the gym?
No.
Okay.
Not
Can you help
100%.
debunk any myths as to why drinking in moderation is okay?
Yeah, I think doing anything in moderation is okay. Almost anything in moderation is okay. I drink.
Sure.
And I work out every day. I literally do that for a living. Pretty much everyone I work with drinks. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a negative thing, Yeah, let's just say you're cooking dinner with your husband or your family and you have 2 glasses of wine. That doesn't ruin the workout you did that morning. It's not going to ruin the workout that you're going to do the next morning.
Sure.
It just depends. Now, if you are having 3 bottles of wine every night, you're probably breaking even on your progress.
Right.
You're not progressing farther, but
if you're having 3 bottles of wine, you probably have
yeah, you might.
We do have resources for that, ladies. No stigma here. You know me. Anybody and everybody can come to the table with Morgan and Izzy. You can drink smarter, though. I know you've got some tips on how to drink smarter. But before we get there, talk to me about performance, recovery, sleep, inflammation, and digestion. Those things are going to be impacted by alcohol because it's poison, right? Your body tries and starts to, if I understand it, eliminate it immediately once I introduce it.
Yeah.
So is that why moderation is the key?
I think so, yes. So the more you drink, basically the longer it takes to totally leave your system and how long your system is affected by it in your body. So let's just say you have a light drink. It's going to take less time than if you drink an entire bottle of wine, or if you drink, 5, 6 drinks versus having one or 2 glasses of wine.
Okay, so it's a series of factors is what it sounds like. What about food? Does food timing change the impact of alcohol and the effects of alcohol?
So the hours, what I was just talking about, it depends on how much you drink, how long your body is going to hold on to the fat and calories you have consumed within a certain window. And that's not, 100% accurate for everyone. Like it could be longer for you. It could be longer for me or someone, smaller or larger. It's going to differ. So basically, like what you said, is a poison to your body. It's a toxin. Your body's first instinct is to get rid of it as fast as it can. And it's going to hold on to everything else that you have consumed within, X amount of time before, X amount of time after. I think depending on how much you have drank.
Okay, that makes sense. The Pilates girl dilemma. This is something I go through with my friends, and as a mom, I'm going to read this sentence. We work out, we take care of ourselves. How do we drink in a way that aligns with our lifestyle? Lifestyle meaning fitness lifestyle. So how do I, Morgan, drink in a way that aligns with my fitness lifestyle?
I think, moderation, just whatever works for you. It's not one size fits all, I think that looks different for everyone. That's what I always say with workouts too. Like, do what you like, do what makes you feel good. It's not going to look the same for everyone. If you want to have a glass of wine and then you want to come to Pilates at 6 a.m. with me, that's great. Not everyone does that. And, some people like doing the trampoline classes where they bounce up and down for fitness and to burn calories. That's great. Like, you do whatever works for you,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've recently had a discussion around what's healthier for me. I know this is something Izzy's passionate about. Is it a ranch water because it's just tequila, right? And Topo Chico, is it a Mick Ultra? And what is the key to the healthier drink? If I'm in that position, which one am I supposed to drink and which one's healthier for me? Is it low sugar? Is there a model to this?
Yeah, I think lower sugar, lower calorie would be considered more a good drink. You know what I mean? In quotation.
A better drink.
But at the end of the day, sugar, alcohol is alcohol. But I mean, calories and sugar wise, if you're having a ranch water versus a margarita, it's obviously going to have way less sugar, way less calories than, 700 calorie margarita.
All right, Molly. So personally, my drink of choice is Tito's and Topo Chico. I made the decision pretty early on when I started working out that beer was just not going to work for me.
Yeah.
For the reasons that we discussed, higher sugar, higher calories. I definitely felt like the gluten was something that really affected me the next day. So wake up the next morning, a little bit more brain fog, less motivation, and then I felt my workouts weren't working as well. So you personally, you're out celebrating, you have an early class, you restrict yourself, versus it's someone's birthday, your anniversary, and there's no limits. How does that show up differently in your body the next day?
Before I met my husband, I used to stay out till 3 a.m. I would get up at 4 a.m., go teach my class, and then I'd go to work. And I was totally fine.
And it's interesting, Molly. I love that you're so honest because that is we recently saw a Gallup study, okay? And we know now that the younger generations, women, the females, are binge drinking.
Oh, yeah, you told me this.
Now more than their male counterparts. Yes. This is alarming information for our industry. We exist to save lives. And so you mentioned, and I was listening very well, you said high noon. Mm-hmm. Now, I've been in this situation. I talk a lot about mommy wine culture and what I call canned cocktails. If you've walked in the aisle at Target lately or any grocery store and you look down the alcohol aisle, they're quite pink and sparkly nowadays. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that there is intentional marketing efforts towards functional fitness in the fitness group.
Very much so.
But also women. And so there are these canned cocktails that are boat friendly, right? They're beach friendly. They're and they are supposedly low sugar, right? They're low cal,
low ABV sometimes, like they're lower alcohol contents.
Yeah. And some of them are double ABV. So you think I'm getting attracted, yes. Right?
Not the cut water.
It's really unruly. Yeah. These brands, and then what these young girls don't realize is they think they're making a healthy choice and a popular one, and then they've bought a pack of 4. And they don't realize that those 4 cans are double the ABV. So now 4 doesn't do it for them after a couple months of this. Now they have to buy 2 stacks of 4. Yeah. And very quickly we see this binge drinking number rising, accompanied by someone who's very fit and is, younger and is not feeling the effects and impacts of heavy drinking and hangovers. How do we solve that problem, and how do we encourage moderation, especially for girls that are fit, that do want to stay fit, and they are going to choose a high noon because it's less calorie and low cal? What's the answer?
Yeah. I think just more awareness of it. Because when I started drinking, like, I didn't know a lot of things. I didn't know you weren't supposed to mix this liquor and this liquor, and you know what I mean? So especially, 19, 20-year-old girls in college, like, they don't know, what they're putting into their body. I'm still learning things about alcohol and how it affects your body, and I'm, almost 30 years old. So you're just not taught that at all.
I think there is a gap. I recently saw on social media, was looking with our brand reputation manager, this mood for the season. And it was a reel on Instagram, and it showed like, this is the season that I'm walking into for the next 3 months. And it was this very cool music, very Twilight looking, right? Dark trees and like fancy woman in a red dress and like drinking cocktails in this beautiful bar with like gold lights and sparkle. And it was very like winter, very fall, very like, I just wanted to be in the phone. And these women though are drinking bourbon, they're drinking old fashions, they're drinking high-end cocktails. And I thought, here we go. We're opening up now another door and marketing it intentionally. It's okay if it's in moderation, and I'm all for classy consumption. It's just, we need to, I think, understand and do a better job of educating. I also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Izzy, I also believe that our doctors don't do a good job of vetting up front. When we go to the doctor, you get this little questionnaire and it's like, check here if you drink 1 glass of wine a week, and that's it. And they never ask anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost a topic they want to avoid, right? So I think that's a really, until it leads to other issues, like for myself, I'm not 29. I was doing that a long time ago. So the things that happen to me health-wise, I have to be a lot more conscious of with my alcohol consumption, right? So yeah, I have a genetic issue with my liver, fatty liver. So I have to be very cognizant of the liquor I'm drinking, how much liquor I'm drinking. And yeah, you show up at the doctor and they ask you to fill things out. There's no conversation behind it until, you have high blood pressure or, there's other issues that are underlying, and that alcohol consumption exacerbates that, makes it higher. So I think there's a lot of they avoid the topic a lot, right? And so sometimes you got to be very intentional about the questions you're asking, how alcohol is going to affect you, how it affects your health as you start getting a little bit older.
Yeah, and like mommy wine culture, for example, I just don't think it's cute. It's not cute to be in a position where, as a mother, you're blessed with this opportunity to be a mother. And there's plenty of women out there who don't ever get to be that or have wanted to be that. And you're taking the opportunity to make a joke about your kids being the butt end of something that you deserve because you're so exhausted and overworked. We're all exhausted and overworked. I just think the brunt end of the joke, it's not cute. It's okay to, I think, drink socially and all these things, but I know there's a way, Molly, to drink smarter. I know Izzy's going to ask you some questions about that. And I just want to hear maybe why it's not bad to drink. It's okay to drink, but it's not necessarily bad to drink.
So a couple things on drinking smarter. And I have noticed, as in the sales culture, I do hang out socially for work with people that are younger, and I feel like they're prepping better. Like I remember going to a work function and they're buying their Gatorade beforehand. There's a commercially available pills that you could take that are called Cheers, to give a little bit plug, and that kind of helps with that metabolizing alcohol. But they are prepping a little bit better. So for yourself personally, for me, I know what I do. I definitely hydrate the night before. I do take the Cheers. I have a supplement called DHM, which helps metabolize alcohol. And then I'm very conscious about the effects on my liver, so I'm always taking supplements for my liver to make sure that it is cleansing as much as possible. What do you do hydration-wise? Do you eat beforehand or afterhand? And how do you know your limits? Like, when do you tell yourself, like, okay, that's probably enough, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down for the night?
I always make sure I have had some protein, because when I do not eat, it hits me so hard, no matter what it is. I mean, like 2 sips of a drink and I'm there if I do not eat anything. So, a healthier carb. I normally try and always eat beforehand so it doesn't immediately go to my head. Yeah, I drink a lot of water just in general. I've never been a soda drinker ever my whole life. I just naturally drink a lot of water, so I think that helps me too. I do take a hydrate supplement that helps you absorb it better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about pacing as you're going through? So do you mentally keep count? I always kind of keep count in my head, so I know where I'm at as far as um going through with my friends. They drink a little faster than I do now, so I tend to mix it up with uh like I told you, vodka and soda, and then I'll just do soda water where people won't be asking what I'm drinking.
Yeah.
How do you pace yourself to make sure that you don't reach your limit too quickly?
I think I have really good just boundaries with myself. Like if I tell myself I'm going out and I'm having one drink, I will only have one drink.
Amazing.
I feel like I'm just very strong-willed, and at home too. I'm like, okay, I'm having one, I will have one, and that's it. And that's not always the case for everyone. Everyone can't do that.
Yeah.
I think I'm just lucky and I can. But I also, if I don't, I don't do that all the time. Or, if everyone's like, let's get another, I don't make myself feel bad about it. But I try not to go overboard. And I normally don't.
Yes. So ultimately, and this is not for everyone, right? There's definitely some people that due to addiction or due to their personality traits, sobriety might be the best choice. Me, ultimately, I arrived pretty early on when I was going to start restricting my alcohol that I was not going to choose a path of full sobriety because I still like celebration culture. I like to have a glass of wine with my wife occasionally. I'm going to, go on vacation and have a drink. I'm going to sit by the beach and have a drink. For me, I understood that balance was critical. How do you arrive at the point where you tell yourself drinking isn't bad, but I have to make informed decisions?
Yeah, I think balance is the key for sure. Because I'm the same way. I have told you, like when we met about a month ago, I did like a month and a half, no alcohol at all. Like almost made it. The whole, like from the middle of October through November.
Oh yeah, that's the no drinks October.
Yeah.
I think that's like that's like a
Sober
movement.
October.
I did all of 2024 with no alcohol.
So
I did the whole year.
that's a great-
Because
that's a long
I
time.
was I caught myself and I was like, I am going home to have a drink. Like I'm looking forward to go home so I can have a drink. And I was like, I don't want to think like
Right.
that. So I was like, okay, I just need to fully reset. And I did until I felt like I was fine. And then, went back to my normal because I don't want to just completely deprive myself. Because for me, I just think that's unrealistic. That's just how I live my life with working out, eating. Like, I'm not going to do anything that is not realistic and functional over time.
Right.
Like, sustainable, that is the word. Like I'm never going to not eat sugar for the rest of my life.
Right.
I'm never going to, never have a carb again for my entire life. So that's how I kind of feel about alcohol too. Cause I do like when my friends come to town or if one of my friends wants to go to happy hour or,
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I think a reset's a really good thing. I forgot what year it was, but I think it's probably pretty close to COVID. There is a holiday season where every day there is an excuse to open a bottle of wine. And I got to the point where I'm like, this is too much. Me and my wife kind of looked at ourselves and like, we absolutely need to reset. Let's not drink for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it was. And I felt great. But I think that got me to a point where I realized that I can't sustain this forever. And it's going to be realistic where it just has to be an educated decision on how you consume and consume it responsibly.
And movement can be a good resource, right?
Yeah. So
this
that's
is
really
such,
good
yeah.
key.
Well, because movement, when you do move, it creates chemicals in your body, and those chemicals are going to lead to mental clarity. The more mental clarity you have, the better decisions you can make, and it all kind of cycles together. Movement as a form of resilience, right? So using activity to help regulate emotions, reduce stress, increase mental clarity, and why finding your kind of movement is key.
Yeah.
You touched on that, Molly.
Yeah. Like I was saying with, there are all kinds of, not to say crazy, but, like bungee classes and the trampoline classes and jump rope classes. I don't know. If you like doing that, and you get up every day and you look forward to doing that and that helps you exercise and make it fun, then do it.
Yeah. And if you are someone who's going through this program, you have a car breathalyzer, you're going through an ignition interlock device program, using movement as momentum through this transition in your life and during this season, I think is the key here. Molly, I know that we Is there anything else that you want our viewers to know? If you could say anything or give any amount of advice to someone that might be going through a hard season, a divorce or a transition or something like an ignition interlock device stipulation, those who have made a mistake, they're going through absolute despair, they're frustrated, beyond the basic advice that this moment doesn't define you, what advice would Molly Denman give them?
I would say find a positive outlet, no matter what that outlet looks like for you. For me, it's fitness. For you, it was fitness, and doesn't have to be fitness. There's something positive that makes you better, that helps you get through it, because that helps me get through it.
Yes. Partner with the power.
Partner with the power.
Partner with the power. Thank you for joining our episode today. I'm Morgan Ryan. Powerful, magical episode with Molly Denman, talking all things fitness and encouragement to build a lifestyle that is strong, joyful, and keyword sustainable, especially through something like an ignition interlock device stipulation and requirement. You can get your first 2 payments free with coupon code Stigma Free. You can also visit our website at www.smartstartinc.com.
Or call us at 844-766-0156 so you can get some free advice on your DUI journey.
Thank you for joining us again. I am Morgan Ryan.
And I'm Izzy Varela.
Until next time,
Stay
stay
safe,
safe, drive smart.